We want to thank everybody for being here, and of course we definitely want to thank Adidas again for making this possible. And I know Scott Nagelkirk has some, would like to welcome you guys as well. So Scott.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. Ladies, sorry.
You're really confused, aren't you?
Phil threw me off. Sorry.
It's the hat.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out. We got an amazing panel tonight. Just want to talk a little bit about Free the Girls and what we're going to do for donations for the charity. So I appreciate everybody donating. Every bra that is donated tonight, Adidas is going to match. So we're also going to donate a bra for every bra that is donated tonight. And also for the next 2 weeks, any Adidas shoes, apparel, accessories that are purchased in the next 2 weeks out of any Runners Roost, we're going to donate a bra as well. So really cool stuff. So you guys kicked it off. There was a ton of bras donated, so we got a lot of matching to do. Courtney she's from Free the Girls, so she's going to tell you a little bit more about the organization.
Hello, ladies. Hi. My name is Courtney Scarabon. I'm the Executive Director for Free the Girls. So what we do is we provide job opportunities for women rescued from sex trafficking in the developing world. So these bras that you have generously donated, as well as Adidas, they become the inventory for these women to start up micro-enterprises. There are so many amazing organizations that are doing rescue and rehabilitation. We help provide the reintegration part, reintegration back into the workforce, back into their communities, back into self-sustainability, where they can take care of themselves and their children and their families. I just got back from 2 weeks in Uganda and Mozambique visiting some of our women, and so I'm so excited for all these bras, so thank you. So thank you so much, and we are just so grateful for all of you, for Adidas, for Runners Roost, for this partnership. So thank you all so much.
Courtney, I want to bring up a question because you talked a little about it, but what inspired you to get involved with this? And you actually created this, right?
I did not create it, no.
What got you inspired to be involved with it?
So I was actually living in Uganda for 3 years, and I was the country director of one of the organizations that does the rescue and the rehabilitation. And so I partnered with Free the Girls to help implement that program in Uganda. And then when my husband and I moved back stateside, this position opened up. I have friends whose lives are changed from this program, and I'm so excited to be able to continue my story with them.
Well, thank you very much for being here, and let me give a big round of applause and for what she's doing. We really appreciate that. And thank you guys very much for bringing your bras in tonight. So something I never really thought I'd be saying. There we go. But we have a really great panel tonight, and what's great about this panel is that all of our women who make it up are very accomplished runners. In fact, if anyone's got their current copy of Runner's Roll, thanks to Neely, she wore her exact colors, so everyone knew who she was today. They also have full-time lives too. And how many of you guys have kids? All right, you guys remember life before kids? Yeah, I don't either. I have. It can be very difficult for those of us that love to run and have full-time jobs and have a family and and still keep up with one of the sports that we love and activities that we love. So it's wonderful to have them here. And I have great bios in all of them, but I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. So we're going to start here and have Neely go first.
Hello, I'm Neely Gracie, and I was born in Pennsylvania, but my dad was a professional marathoner, and so we spent a lot of time out here in Colorado. And a year ago, my husband and I worked our way back here because we love it so much, so now we're here to stay. I'm running the Boston Marathon in a week and a half, and so I'm excited to be here.
And Sally, how many of you are going to run Boston this year?
Wow.
Awesome. That's great. Brianne.
Hi, I'm Brianne Nelson. I'm from Golden, Colorado. I'm the mom of this group. I'm getting older, but still trying to hang with some of these young guns. And let's see, I'm gearing up. I'm going to run the Horsetooth Half, which is a local half marathon here, coming up on the 17th. And then I'll be running the USA Half Champs out in Ohio at the end of the month.
Brianna and I were just talking because we both have daughters. I have twin daughters, and hers are a couple years apart, and we've known each other for a while. And she kicks butt. She's known as Super Mom because she also clocks up about 120 miles a week. Also doing the rest of the stuff. And then then I believe we have Mara. Sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna make me follow that?
I know.
My name's Mara.
Come up with something really difficult in your life. Just throw it out there. We'll run with it. We won't know.
Yeah. My name's Mara Olson. I guess my tragedy is I'm from Minnesota. Ended up out here just this last July. I graduated from Butler University in May, so I'm kind of the newbie to the group, but loving it out here. I think these girls are crazy. I focus more on 5K. I don't approach 100 miles at all, but so I'm hoping to do some track work this spring, and I'm loving Colorado. Adidas has been so amazing to me, so happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, and not to sell, Mara, don't sell yourself short here because you are, this is crazy. Okay, you majored in biology with
Yes.
minors in neuroscience, chemistry, Spanish, and art design.
She's the brains.
I'm just confused. I don't know what I'm doing with my
Couldn't
life.
choose a major, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
really indecisive.
And then we have Allie Williams.
Alright, hello everybody. So my story is that normally I'm a working professional and a runner, and I kind of did both full time. And then this year, I'm an accountant, so I have a very logical side. And this year, the dreamer side of me won, and so I'm taking a year off just to focus on running. And my goal is for the Olympic track trials, so that'll be my focus, and we'll see how it goes.
Really, you were just trying to avoid tax time.
Yeah, I did that.
It's a pretty smart idea.
Don't worry, I'm thankful for that this time of year.
So the way that will kind of work, this is an open forum, so I can certainly start with some questions. But does anybody have any questions for our panel to start with?
What event in the trials are you going for?
5K and 10K. So
Haven't decided, or both?
maybe both. It just kind of depends on the schedule. If I focus on the 10K, then I'll do the 10K and probably the 5K since the 5K is after it. But if I do the 5K, if the 5K is my focus, then I probably won't do the 10K. So.
Which do you like better?
It kind of goes back and forth, but right now the 10K.
So here's a question kind of for all of our panel because all of you guys have pretty busy lives. How do you guys fit this in? What's your daily routine like? How's it been for you with your time management? Because I think a lot of us probably struggle with that. Whoever would like to start up. They're all trying to figure out how do we hand manage. They haven't figured it out yet. Right?
Yeah. I'll be back to you.
Actually, the question is, who's figured it out?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out every day. For me, having two kids, I have a husband who's a firefighter paramedic too, so that also throws another little spin on it. So.
AKA is her third kid. Let's be
Yeah. So his schedule is constantly changing, but I think the biggest thing for me is God, I'm just always suited up and ready to go. And so, if I have a good morning and the kids get up and they get dressed and I can get lunches done and everyone actually makes the bus and we get all those things dialed, then I'm going at 7:30 because I'm ready to go. And then some mornings it can be pulling out my hair or someone might be throwing up the night before, and then I just postpone it. So I think the big thing for me is kind of just going when it feels right. Like if the kids on a Sunday morning, my husband's working, I have to get on the treadmill and do my long run, and the kids are sitting there and everyone has their pancakes and their food and there's a TV show going and they're content, I'm like, this is the opportunity. So then I go and I do it. So for me, it's more of just being ready to go and really being super duper flexible for me, being a mom. So.
Do you ever have to do it in the evening, like at night, or
Yeah, I typically I do doubles, and I've been kind of playing around with it for the last 3 years. For a while I was getting on the treadmill after dinner, after I put the kids to bed at like 8 o'clock, and then running from 8 to 8:30. I don't know if it's that I'm getting older, but I'm so tired. I'm like done at 6 o'clock. I eat dinner at 5, and I'm like done for the night. So what I've been doing now is getting in my second runs before my kids get off the bus, which puts my 2 runs kind of close together for me. So I don't know. I'm constantly changing it, and just again going off. If I'm tired, then I'll wait, or so. Just.
How's your schedule? Obviously, when you have a family, and you have to obviously be a caretaker to them and stuff too, and you're doing a lot of miles per week. How are you handling your recovery?
Well, this year has been a big break for me because I have 2 kids in school now. I've got a kindergartner and a second grader. So before I didn't have very much time. I really was on the treadmill a lot. But now I have 2 kids, so I put them on the bus at 7:30 and I get them off the bus at about 3. And so, you know, it sounds like I have a lot of time. My husband's like, well, you've had the whole day. And I'm like, well, I spent 2 hours running in the morning, and then I went to the grocery store, and I came home and I took a shower and had lunch, and then I went on my next run and the day was gone. So I don't do a whole lot in the day, but it sure goes by really fast. So it's just...
Neely, so in preparation for your big race coming up, what are some maybe tricks or techniques that you use to help like calm yourself and relax and get yourself to the starting line where you can feel confident and trusting your training and some of the things you do to just get there?
Well, I haven't made it to the starting line yet, but I would say, you know, we all know that there's a big mental component to running. And so for me, when I'm out there training the past 16 weeks in my preparation for Boston, I am training my mental outlook as well as my physical abilities. So I, you know, in workouts, I do a lot of visual, you know, mentally visualizing where I'm at on the race course, how I'm feeling, the positive self-talk of you can do this, stay relaxed, stay focused, you know, find your breathing rhythm. And so on my workouts on the treadmill, because, you know, with the snow, I've had to be on the treadmill quite a bit in the past couple of weeks. And when I've been on the treadmill, I actually, on YouTube, they have a video of the Boston Marathon course. So I just play that over and over again and visualize myself running it and put the treadmill up and down, you know, whenever the race is going up and down. And it helps a lot. So then that way, during my workouts, I'm able to visualize where I'm at on the course. And, you know, I hope that that will really help me.
Really quick question. How about Allie or Mara? Any additional advice getting to the starting line? And
You know, honestly, I thrive off of pressure. I like the adrenaline. I like the rush a bit. It's just, you don't want that to overwhelm you, obviously. But I grew up playing soccer and playing basketball, so I'm someone that really wants to pump up music. I really want people watching. I want there to be that component to it of having high pressure. So I like to listen to some heavy music, but then I also do a crossword before every race. Well, first of all, when you stay in the Holiday Inn, I mean, when you spend 3 days in the Holiday Inn and the only thing around is USA Today, you know, the weekend edition, you go to the crossword eventually. So I find that a really good way, though, to just kind of zone out and let a different part of your brain take over.
then she consults with NASA on the side.
Yes, exactly. I'm doing all this in zero gravity, mind.
I think one of the best pieces of advice I ever got with dealing with nerves and before the start of a race is just reminding yourself of all your successes and reminding yourself that I have accomplished these things and I know what to do once I get out there and because I get kind of nervous and so I just try to. I think it's healthy to have those nerves because you have respect for what you're about to take on, and so you're prepared and you know you need to do all the little things before, like eat a certain amount of time before and eat the things you need. But just remind yourself that, hey, I've accomplished all these things. Like just getting here is a huge accomplishment. Like be proud of yourself on that line and just go for it. So.
How do you handle sleep? Like, what's your average sleep tonight, and how do you fit it in?
Well, I'm supposed to go to bed in 45 minutes, so y'all gotta talk really fast here. Yeah, sleep can definitely be really tough because most of us work out early in the morning or, you know, breeze up with our kids super early, so I think for me, you know, it's finding the routine and it's sticking with it. and that's key. And the weekends don't matter. As a professional runner, we don't have weekends, we don't have holidays. It's all blends into one big thing, and so sticking to that routine is really key for me, because as soon as I start to get off of it, then I start giving myself all these little outs, and it doesn't work out as well. And another thing that I found is during the afternoon, trying to lay down, and even if I don't sleep, just letting myself rest and, de-stress for a little while has been really helpful.
I'm a self-declared insomniac, which is pretty, I would say, rare amidst elite runners, just because we do tire ourselves out so much, and recovery is so key that a lot of people will get 10 hours a night. I've done a lot of research lately just because I have a really hard time turning my brain off, and I'll get closer to 7 or 8, which is still awesome for, the average human being. But when you're competing at this level, you want closer to 9 or 10. And so it really helps me to know that you function just as well off of 5.5 hours as you will off of 7.5. So telling myself, okay, it's fine. You might not be able to sleep right now, but you're doing okay. And then again, napping has been something new to me. Obviously in college I was busy, so I never napped. And then I found, myself taking 3-hour naps in the afternoon, which then I couldn't sleep at night, and it yo-yoed. So perfecting the half-an-hour nap is ideal if you can squeeze it in. And then just trying to turn your mind off at night is something I've been struggling with, but practicing.
What other activities besides running, like what cross training do you do during your training?
I go to the pool and I use an elliptigo. And then I think that, just core work, like kind of gym work, but I don't actually go to the gym. It's people, I guess I call it gym work, but it's just body weight. So just lunges, squats, just things to, as I get older, I just have more imbalances and they kind of catch up with you. So just doing some light body weight stuff, I think really helps with keeping your form and kind of helps prevent me from breaking down. But yeah, I'm a big fan of adding in cross training when you need it, and not being afraid to miss a run if you have to, because sometimes missing one run means that you're saving yourself from a lot more time off down the road. So
Yeah, I'd say pool running and cycling for me are two big, and the elliptigo are actually 3 things I like to do. So.
Yeah, I get in the pool almost every day. I recently have been taking a book into the pool, and I just hold my book and I jog in the water, and helps pass the time and just flushes the system. So it's not necessarily what some people call cross training, where it's oh, I want to get in a workout. It's more just a recovery component of my training that I find to be really useful.
Yeah, so every training group you find is going to have a different outlook on the supplementary work, whether it be lifting weights. Some groups do that, some don't. Some encourage cross-training, some don't. My group has several different what we call stimulus. So one day it'll be plyometrics, one day it'll be balance work, one day will be a little bit of lifting, some core work. And I think it's just making sure that the rest of your body is strengthened, especially around the core region, so that the rest of your muscles can follow suit and be strong.
So speaking of missing runs, have you ever injured yourself in preparation for a really big race? And if so, how do you compensate both mentally and physically?
I cried. Yeah, I did. I actually, my first big injury, I was on a roll, which is when they usually happen, and I had just PR'd in the 5K, and I had run the first World A standard that I had ever run, and then I was gearing up for a big 10K and trying to make the World Championship team, and I got a stress fracture. So, yeah, and Scott is actually my husband, so he was pretty instrumental in helping me through that. He was the shoulder to cry on, and I mean, I think it's okay to be disappointed, but you move on, right? That's life, and you learn from it. I've definitely learned from my injuries, and I think I'm a stronger, better runner because of it, even though it was not so fun to get injured. So I'm sure everybody else has.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think everyone up here has had, I've had 2 calcaneus stress fractures that I've had to come back from, and sometimes you can come back super strong because you do give your body that break, and then you are forced to, pool running or anything involved in the pool, non-weight bearing exercise is amazing. If you get hurt your back or you hurt your foot or anything like that, the pool is a great alternative.
I would say for me, I fried myself in the pool. I tried to cross-train like crazy in the pool, and it backfired. Like, I would sit on the edge and just bawl because I was so upset about getting in the water and felt so like isolated and alone, because running is my social time too. So I have found that spin classes have been my best method of cross-training while injured. They are so hard, and you will get your heart rate up really high. The music keeps you lively, and it'll keep you sane. So I would say spin classes have been my best form of cross-training while injured. And as hard as it is, there's no easy way to get through it. It's never fun, and the best thing you can do is find someone else or find a friend who also is injured or who can do something.
Do you have any of you have any like real nutrition secrets that have worked for you? Like the thing that you changed in your diet?
I have noticed the more fats I add, the more durable I am. So, I'll start feeling tendinitis creeping up in my feet, and I'll just hit the avocados really hard, or the olive oil, or the cheese, and it sounds unhealthy, but honestly, things go away so fast. So being able to allow yourself to have those good fats, I think is really effective. Almonds, yeah.
My diet is, I just try to eat whole foods. I mean, as I get older, I have a better diet than I did when I was in college, and I think I do feel better. I just try to eat really simple whole foods. I've started baking my own bread because I have time. When I go back to work, I'm working full time. I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. Maybe not. I have a really great recipe. It's really easy.
I can vouch for it.
Yes, yeah. I really sell people on it. I've messed up a lot of other breads, but this one actually works. So it's a really simple one. But I think things like that, where you just don't have processed foods with a lot of ingredients, if you can avoid them. I mean, obviously, it's life. You get busy. I ate Chipotle a lot when I was working. I mean, I think you just try to make good decisions and not overwhelm yourself with it either, I think. But I think that's been kind of my approach to a diet. I don't deprive myself of anything. I just try to keep it simple.
Yeah, I have a pretty busy lifestyle, and eating healthy is obviously a part of what I do. So for me, I don't just throw 4 chicken breasts on the grill. I throw 8 chicken breasts on the grill, and then I make chicken tacos, and then the next night it's already made, so then I make chicken salad the next night. So I think prepping for me and preparing is huge for me, especially with a family, especially being on the go and wanting to eat healthy. So when I walk in the door, it's done. I don't make 2 sweet potatoes. I make 6 sweet potatoes, and I make sweet potato pancakes, and I make eat sweet potatoes. And then I'm one of those people that's kind of a freak. On Sundays, I'll go to Costco, and then I'll chop everything. So I have my stir-fry veggies. I mean, I have cases in there. So everything's chopped and washed, so it's before I left tonight, I'm the peppers are already chopped, the carrots are chopped, just throw it all in, make a stir fry, and I'll make even big things of rice. I'll hard boil a bunch of eggs. So I literally don't have an option to reach for those quick. I mean, I do eat bad food, I do. I live in moderation, but when I walk in the door from a hard workout, the last thing I want to put in my body is a donut. For me, I want real food that's going to help fuel me and make my body better. So I think if you can prep as much as you can, as much of a headache as it is, just cook those extra couple chicken breasts. Think of all these different meals that you can make with it, and just have everything ready to go, because if it's all ready to go, you'll take 2 seconds to whip it up. So.
Planning. Yeah, I think planning really helps. The other thing that I really like to use is the crock pot. And it's so easy. It cooks for you, and at the end of the day, you can have something really wholesome. So I think that's really good. and only limiting ice cream to once a week.
How big's your bowl?
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
This is starting to turn into a political thing. I'm getting into the details. How big is that bowl exactly?
So on the topic of ice cream, I guess.
By the way, thanks to PD Burger Ice Cream. Speaking of ice cream, that was a great segue.
Burger and fries.
Yeah, I was gonna say I go salty usually.
Yeah.
I do always try to treat myself after. Even though I don't really deprive myself, I always make sure to have, I love sweets. So I would probably have a burger and fries and a cookie or something. Like I try to find, what's fun is we get to go out to all these amazing places, and so I try to find like a local bakery or something, and find something that I wouldn't get at home because you worked really hard. You deserve something, right?
Alex, how long more you go after every Stanford race?
Please.
Oh, okay. There's this ice cream place.
No.
Oh,
In-N-Out.
Oh, In-N-Out. And then the ice cream. Yeah, you're right. In-N-Out. And then, but there's, I know you love it, or yeah, I feel like you're on either
Animal
side.
fries.
But we go to In-N-Out, and then we get ice cream because there's this really great local ice cream place too that has like flavors I've never had before. So.
Well, I ran Rock and Roll New Orleans about a month ago, and on Yelp, I had found like the best ice cream place in all of New Orleans, and I was so excited. And then I realized that our hotel was like 7 miles away from this ice cream place. And I was like, Dylan, we still have to go. Like, I just want this ice cream. He's like, Neely, it is going to be like a $45 taxi ride to go get ice cream. I was like, okay, I guess it's not worth it. So we walked around the entire area of where we were in New Orleans, and we could not find ice cream. They had gelato everywhere, but I was like, no, I want ice cream. Then they have like the froyo places. So I was like, no, I want like the scooped ice cream. And I knew exactly what I wanted. He's like, you are such a diva. And I was like, I know what I want.
Note to self, anybody gonna be in Boston when she finishes, have ice cream ready.
Ice cream.
Question in the back?
Did you get her ice cream?
Oh, did you get it? Did you?
I did.
That would be the husband reading the what to do for the wife handbook. Question in the back, and then we'll get up here.
Are you guys, each of you self-coached, or do you have professional coaches, or how do you each do that?
I have a coach. I mean, I think that left to my own devices, it probably could end up pretty bad. So I know that I need a coach. Some people are self-coached, and it works out really well for them. But I do have a coach.
Yeah, Brianna and I were just talking about this. I run for a group called Roots Running. It's located in Boulder. There's a team of about 6 of us right now, so we have a coach, and I find it to be really good to have a small group. But I know other people are on a large team that has a single coach. Some people like to self-coach, but Bree and I were just talking, we were both saying we want someone to tell us what to do and we'll do it. As opposed to having to think through it and be creative about it, just give us the formula and let us follow suit.
Oh, yeah. I've had a coach up until I've recently just had some changes going on. So just kind of in that kind of middle ground right now, just kind of reassessing where I'm at and where I'm going. And just my needs have changed and having a family and stuff like that. So, yeah. But yes, I did.
My husband's my coach, so that's a fun relationship sometimes. It never ends. I was actually...
They didn't know to get you ice cream.
Yeah. Real quickly, you have no chance. This whole room is filled with ladies today.
And I'm also a personal coach, so I'm on the other side of it as well. So I'm an athlete and I'm a coach of about 25 other athletes. So it's sort of an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, coaching is something really interesting. You have to find someone that you're both, your running philosophy aligns. So there are many different systems out there: high mileage, low mileage. 3 workouts a week, 2 workouts a week. All do they do weightlifting? Do they not? All these different components of running that have to align. And then there's also a psychological component because you're really vulnerable as an athlete to that coach. You trust them with your body and with your mind because, you're putting yourself out there every day. After races, you're going to break down, you're going to be happy. The first person you're going to go to is your coach, ideally. And so it's really important to find someone you're compatible with in both aspects.
Any question?
So besides the crossword puzzles,
Oh, gosh.
do you have any rituals for pre-race?
God, no, I'm so boring. I literally tell my husband every time I leave, what'd you do? I'm like, I don't know, I just stared at the wall and I was content. I just enjoy just being quiet. And you know what? I travel with a lot of these girls, so a lot of the times we're paired up in the same room. So we vlogged some trashy TV.
Yeah, that's our
ritual.
That's usually our go-to. I would say that's it.
Oh, so you've been watching the political debates too?
Oh yeah. That would be in Mara's room. No, yeah. So I just
I think you just try to stay as relaxed as possible and try not to. It is hard because you're in these amazing places and you kind of want to go tour around, but we do end up seeing the inside of a hotel room for the most part.
Besides running, we do see a lot.
Yeah, and that's what's great
And
about
see the
running is you get to
city,
cover
so.
a lot of miles and see things that way. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people have a bathroom stop, pre-race. I have a friend that swears by Swedish Fish. She always pops a Swedish Fish before a race. So everyone, honestly, you just find your little thing. Even if it actually helps or not, it just makes you feel ready.
Yeah.
So sometimes if I can't figure out that last crossword, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to cheat. But I need to fill it in. So it's all about feeling ready. It's just what makes you feel secure.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't change anything on the race day.
Exactly.
If you do what you normally do, then it just seems like another, I think that's a really big thing that we could all probably say we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I like to have, 2 or 3 races before my big focus race where I can sort of have my dress rehearsals, where I try out my shoes, I try out my uniform, I go through my routine, what I eat before, what my warm-up is, and all of that. And that really helps me feel super ready on race day. So, I had 2 half marathons that I did before Boston, so that way I now know what I want my routine to be, what I'm gonna wear, and how that whole, last 12 hours leading into the race is going to pan out. So that way, on the starting line, I know I've controlled what I can. Because there's so many factors in a race that occur, like the weather and stuff that you can't control. And so I think it's really helpful to have a routine of some sort that can help you feel really ready on race day.
Can things like weather really rattle you though? If it's like, say, you have your kit picked out and then it turns into be, a snowstorm. How do you adjust? Does that rattle you at all or does that play in?
I try to prepare for that during workouts. So I test all the different options. And see, today I tested an option that I will definitely not be wearing. So, you have those times where it's good to know. I ran a half marathon in New York City, and I tested out some shorts, and they did not stay shorts for very long, so I won't be wearing those either.
The crowd would have liked
Crowd favorite over there.
They make these for a reason.
So, it's good to be prepared for different options just like that. I ran in the World Championships in 2013, and it was in Poland, and we went and previewed the course the day before the race, and there were about 8 inches of snow on the course, and it ran up and down a ski slope 8 times. So, yeah, it was quite a challenging course, and it really was one of those where it was like, I went back to the hotel, and at first I was just blown away. Like, how is this even possible? How do they think we're supposed to run this? And then it was like, we are running this. How am I going to run the best I can on that day? And so I put in spikes in the bottom of my shoes that were like 1 inch long, and it was very cold, so we rubbed Vaseline all over us, and you prepare the best you can and hope that you get a little bit lucky out there. But I think it was one of my best races because I was so focused on the snow, the footing, the people around me not getting knocked over and everything, that I stayed very within myself the whole race. And all of a sudden, I ended up having one of my best races. So I think it actually helped in a roundabout way. But it can hurt you too. So it's all about that attitude, the approach going into it.
Everyone's running in the same stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Maybe to continue on that, because I think one of the things that when you're preparing for a race and you're whatnot is, I'm sure that many of us in the audience can experience this, is that where we have our main goal, but our main goal doesn't work out. You guys prepare with a secondary goal?
Oh, I got A, B, C,
Yeah.
D, E, F, G.
The last one's just
Sometimes,
bitches.
yeah.
Sometimes they
We all
go
have
down
those
real
days.
quick.
Explain your LA Marathon.
Oh, yeah. So I ran LA Marathon, and I had in my eyes, I had it was winter, but it was a good preparation, and I went into that race, and top 5 was totally, in my eyes, fair, manageable. My day would have been top 3, but top 5, I thought I can nail this. And then on a bad day, top 10. Well, I ended up, I think, 46 or 36. So I definitely had a rough day, but I was out there. My family was there. I had friends out there. And, it started off, and I felt fine, and I got going. And, at about 10 miles, I started to kind of feel a little bit wobbly. And I was like, okay, this is just one of those rough patches. Like, keep trucking along. So I kept trucking along, and didn't seem to go away, so I was running the side of the road the whole race. So long story short, I went from being, thinking that I was going to be in the front to having to really reevaluate midway through the race. Like, okay, this is not going as planned, but you can still get this back. So I did a self-check, and then it kept getting worse. And it kept getting worse, and it kept getting worse. But then, at the end of the day, I said, you know what, my kids, my family are there. I just need to get to the finish line. So it was one of those days, and it sucked that it was every 4 years that this comes around, and I worked so hard, and I gave up a lot, and I tried so hard, but the day wasn't there. But needless to say, it was an experience, and I learned a lot from that experience. I know it was the worst day, but the best day at the same time. So I think you can gain a lot from those really rough races. So, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, even for elite competitors, sometimes just finishing is the next goal.
Yeah, that was way. That's where my day went. So. Yeah. But I have had races where I've gotten to that point where I think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it, and I reevaluate, and it's amazing how your mind can switch too, and I could have the best day. I could have a really good day too. So I think you remember that you always have those rough patches, and sometimes you're going to come out of them, and maybe sometimes you won't.
Or sometimes you get the question, well, why would I finish?
Yeah.
Like if I'm running so poorly, why would I even bother to finish this race? But I know me personally, if I did not cross that line, the shame afterwards would be so much worse than the pain, of those minutes or hours or seconds that it takes to finish the race. So even if it's a stinky time or a stinky place and you're, upset with the result, just finishing the race sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I think injuries are a different story.
Yeah, yes,
Maybe don't
yes.
try to finish
Yes.
It hurt. An injury. But other than that, yeah, I've definitely struggled through a long marathon.
So when you had a job and you're an accountant, how did you find the time to train to the level where you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a struggle. I had a lot of support. I mean, my husband, he is amazing. I mean, I started about 4 years ago in the last Olympic cycle. The year before, I kind of said, I really want to try training at a different level, like training harder, because I was focusing on my career more than running. Running was just kind of a side hobby, and so I just kind of wanted to go all in, make the trials, see what I could do, and so we sat down, and I got my first training program from my new coach, and I was very overwhelmed, and he talked me through it, and I think it's just, though, looking at it in pieces, like your day, you plan out your day, it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of advance notice to you know, my boss and people that I work with, like, hey, these are my races. I would tell them my race schedule, and these are the days I'm going to be gone. And as soon as I knew I was going to do a race, I would you know, give them the dates and the days that I'd be gone, and we would just make, or I was in charge of my deadline, so I would make sure, you know, whatever key deadlines were around those races, that I had planned for those. But really every day it was just getting up really early every morning, and I'm kind of the opposite of Mara. I'm a sleeper. I need a lot of sleep. I need like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. Otherwise, I don't feel like I function very well, and maybe that's in my head, but I don't know. You know, some people just need more sleep than others. So it was just about being very disciplined, getting up early. Like what Bree said, you got to be, on the weekends I'd be preparing for the whole week with meals and everything. But yeah, just kind of looking at your schedule and figuring out where things fit in, whether it meant running at lunchtime or running at dark. I had these soccer fields I would run around when I got home, and I just put on the headlamp and just run around and around and around and around for my second run, because I didn't really have any other option. It was dangerous to go out on the roads, and there's only so many treadmill runs I can handle. So you know, you just kind of make it work, I guess.
I think like you were saying, communication there is really important, and not just with your boss. I mean, I work at the Y right now. It's a pretty flexible job, so like it's easy for me to just say to my clients, hey, I'll be gone at this time. But also communicating with your loved ones or your coach and being able to say like, hey, I'm really overwhelmed right now, or can I just walk through what my day is going to be like tomorrow, or could you throw my laundry in because I can't find a time to do it? Or telling your coach, you know, I don't know how I'm going to get my run in tomorrow. And just being able to voice those concerns or voice your schedule with someone, I think is really therapeutic.
When you have to go to treadmill running because of the winter or whatever conditions, how do you make that work and translate back onto the street when you get to go back on the road?
Well, I just put on my playlist. I'm not somebody who watches things really, but I definitely procrastinate on the treadmill. I mean, I'll wait as long as possible. I think I procrastinate longer than I actually run on the treadmill. But yeah, I just listen to music, and I think for me, one of the reasons why I don't enjoy running on the treadmill is I feel like I run differently than I do when I run outside. So I try to just do one run if I have 2 runs, and I'll try to go outside for the second one, but sometimes, you know, it's just like this last, you know, 2 feet of snow or whatever we had, like that was a double treadmill day, and I think it's okay, but for me it's not something I can do. You know, I can't be on it for a week. So I guess a helpful tip I have is I put screws in the bottom of my shoes, and then I have these really great like winter, they're Adidas, they're like a winter shoe, and so they have a great bottom for running in snow, and then I put these screws in them, and it works really well, and they have an upper that keeps my feet a little bit drier, so you just kind of get through it, I guess.
I like the treadmill.
Yeah.
I've learned to love it.
That's what I was going to say, living in Colorado.
I do.
Yeah.
I do like I'll just tell myself like before I get on it, like, okay, every 5 minutes I'm going to put up the incline, or every song I'm going to put up the incline, or, you know, I'm always changing the inclines, or I'll do like 2 minutes or 1 minute, change it. Like, it seems to go by fast, but I think I'm conditioned.
Or every half mile change the speed like 0.1, you know, mile per hour, even though you're not going to feel it, but it's just something to do.
It's a great way to control a lot of work.
Exactly.
You're not doing crosswords while you're on it?
Although I do watch the Spanish channel with subtitles. That kills a lot of time.
I watch very mindless TV while I'm on the treadmill, so that's what gets me through. I actually did 2 weeks of my preparation for Boston on the Alter G. I was rehabbing a little bit of a niggle on my foot, and so doing 100 miles a week on the Alter G for 2 weeks in a row definitely got really tough, and so yeah, coming up with all sorts of different things. I actually started like making phone calls. So I would like call my mom and I'd be like, all right, like I'm just gonna talk because on a normal run I talk the whole time with these girls. And so I would just call a friend and be like, all right, let's get me through this. You know, we're out running. Or I'd watch TV or watch the Boston race over and over again. So overall, you know, you have to just find ways to trick your mind into getting through the amount of time that you have to be on there.
I do have one other trick. I cover the display with my shirt, and then I wait. I see how long I can go without looking.
How far have you gotten for?
Oh, like 4 minutes.
Which probably feels closer to 40 when you get it right.
I'm going to defend the treadmill. No, I honestly think though you can do some really great workouts and great controlled workouts, and I don't know where everybody lives or whatnot, but if you're stopping every light, or you want to just get in a flat run, or you want to just run hills for, you know, I just always try and pull the positive, because there's some good stuff about it. I know they're terribly boring, but that's good mental preparation.
Yeah. It's totally good mental preparation. And the other thing is, it's also good heat preparation.
Yeah.
So if you're preparing for a hot weather race, I did a couple races last year in Florida, and I had no problem with heat. Going from Colorado winter to 70 degrees and humid, I felt like the treadmill really helped prepare me for that. So.
And I think there are really good workouts you can do on the treadmill too. Like for me, tempo type workouts are really good on the treadmill, and you can really control your pace. And so it's really, to agree with Bree a little bit,
It's almost like cheating at some point, you know?
Yeah, you just move your legs.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
Well, you could fall off, I guess.
Yeah, let's hope not.
What's your racing shoe of choice?
Oh, the Adios.
Yeah, the Adios Boost.
Adios Boost.
For what race?
Whichever your specialty is, so.
I'm in the Avanti right now, which is a Spike, and I love it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It has Boost on the bottom of the Spike, which is incredible.
I'm running in the Bostons for
That's
the
appropriate.
Boston Marathon, of course.
The Boston Adios or the other?
They're called the Adizero Boston. Mm-hmm. Yep, they're awesome. They're a little bit more shoe
Yellow?
than the Adios.
Yellow or the blue?
So mine are pink, actually. Yeah. You have to look at my Facebook page. My dog is wearing them.
Yeah, something I found too with training, and I don't know, you know, everyone's different, but if I have actually like 3 pairs of shoes that I rotate between, so I have like a heavier trainer, obviously, and then you know, I have a couple pairs that I rotate throughout the week, so depending on what run I'm doing, and I think it's good to have a couple different types of shoes. I have a couple different, I do the Supernova Glide, and I also do a lot of my workouts in the Adios. So I think switching between the shoes, if you can afford a couple pairs of shoes, to get a couple pairs and bounce back between, because then your feet never get stuck, and it's amazing when you put on a lighter shoe how you feel faster in a workout.
Yeah.
So.
We have time for probably about one more question.
Millie, what are you going to do for the Boston? What time are you shooting for?
So, asking about goals, right? I have 3. So my first goal is 2:35. This is my debut marathon, if anyone didn't hear that. So this will be my very first time racing further than 13 miles. I have run a 21-mile long run, so 26 is totally foreign territory to me. So 2:35 is my main goal, and then 2:32 is my second, and then 2:30 if I have an awesome day.
You're going to have it.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
What time is your intro?
So my dad is a runner, yep, and he was actually running the Boston Marathon when I was born. So that's sort of the really cool connection that I have. And my dad was a 2:12 marathoner.
Wow.
It's in the genes.
Very, very forgiving mom.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
We'll take just one more, because I think you had a question.
Yeah, I was just curious, I'm gonna back out just a little bit. Was there a moment when you all realized you could be an elite runner? I'm curious about that. What was that?
Yeah, for me, it was a 5K my junior year of college. I flew to California and got to compete in this big race against the professionals and actually end up running like almost a minute PR. And so it was a huge race for me. And at that moment, I was right there in the mix with people who were already competing at the professional level. And that was the race that made me feel like this was actually possible.
I'm kind of a later starter. I didn't run in high school or anything like that. I actually didn't even run until my sophomore year in college, and I was just running local races, and the college coaches told me, you should come out. And I was like, oh, I don't know much of a racer. And so anyways, I ended up running. He convinced me. So I was a walk-on, and I ended up, actually, Allie and I competed. I was an All-American, and then I actually was trying to make the, what would that be, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 2008 trials in the marathon, and I ended up getting pregnant. So I was going to try to make that standard. And so I had 2 kids, and then I said, I'm not done yet. So then I started getting back into it after kids, and I just kind of kept chucking away, and then I started going to these USA races and started getting in the top 10, and then it just kind of, I've just kind of been kind of going. So I kind of have a backwards story. I'm a late starter. I wouldn't say I started till about 5 or 6 years ago.
I personally still consider myself a soccer player. But I think, quite honestly, I think All-American honors in Division I athletics was kind of the moment where I was like, all right, this is cool. I want to keep doing this. And it's nice to have that validation, that affirmation from external sources to say, like, all right, yeah, you can do this, and you can compete with people at this level.
I guess for me it was always a little bit hard in college because I kind of was struggling between which route did I want to go. Did I want to try to do the professional running thing, or did I want to have a stable career? And which running is not. And so I had a lot of success in college, and I kind of tried running post-collegiately after college, and it really didn't go very well. So I thought maybe my calling in life is to be an accountant. But I still had the itch, and I think everybody here knows what that's like, to just have the itch to run and just see how good you can be. And so really I started pretty seriously again 4 years ago, and then it was really funny. I was driving in my car, and this past year has been the most I've ever committed to running, and I was in my car driving to work one day, and there was that speech that Jim Carrey gave that came on, and he was talking about his dad and how he chose the safe route, and he was an accountant, and then he got laid off, and I was just like, oh my gosh, Jim Carrey's talking to me. So anyway, I transitioned out of working, and it's been an amazing year, and I know that I will look back with no regrets. So that's kind of my story.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, very much. So thank you to Allie, Mara, and Haley.